We are recording, and welcome again, Gary, to my channel. And just good to see you, my friend, Gary.
You too. You're a
Man,
busy guy. You're on every day, aren't you? I found out by sort of, looking around.
well,
It's
yeah,
good.
it's kind of something I wanted to do as a kid, is like have kind of my own TV show, which is what it's like in a way.
Every kid's dream, isn't it? Right? No.
Yes, absolutely. You're looking well. How have you been? What you been up to?
Yeah, I'm all right. No, I've been sort of noodling quite a bit, really, playing,
That's good to hear.
um, fighting back the arthritis, and it's better. You play more and it sort of helps. Exercise is good for arthritis.
Yes, it
So
is.
I've been kind of trying to learn all my giant parts, which are tricky things to play, I'm finding out.
They're
But
absolutely tricky. They're absolutely tricky. And I would like to get into some of that with you today regarding.
okay,
Yeah, yeah. How's Mauricio Higgins doing?
he's good. I should have him make a cameo later on.
That'd be
He's
great.
he's well. He's getting big.
Hmm.
He's very rambunctious. Guess the word. He's like into
Yeah.
everything. The dogs go by and he sort of grabs them in a headlock and
Mm.
that's
How
good
many
stuff.
how many pets do you have?
We got 5 cats, I think. Let's see. That's
Whoa.
right. Five cats, 3 dogs.
Wow. You
That's not as many as we've had in the past. We've had our all-time record was 32 cat. No, that's not right. Is it? I was going to say 32 cats. That can't be right.
right.
That would pull us in the,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
weird old lady on the corner
Well, it's
kind
like
of
where do they
thing.
stay? I mean, it's like, are they indoors or outdoors cats?
No, they've all been indoors. I mean,
Good
because
God.
that's where they got. Yeah. So this room that I'm sitting in,
Hmm.
which is the music room,
Yeah.
it used to be a cat room, and
Okay.
it was destroyed by them. I literally had to rip up some of the floorboards
Wow.
and replace them. And I replastered the bottom foot of the wall all around the room because it was so pea stained and smelly that.
Right, right.
So
Yeah.
anyway, then they were in the basement, so that's kind of was the best place for them. But there's only a few now. We've only just got another 2 because of Mauricio and another one, Inky, and so
Well,
they're in the house. It's fine.
well,
We like them.
yeah, obviously you know what you love. You know what you love.
Yeah.
Well, Gary, it kind of sounds like maybe you're getting some music activity going here.
Well, yeah, I'm playing more, enjoying it more, figuring out, well, not figuring out, but discovering again how much I don't know about it all, which
Hmm.
is,
Hmm.
everything really.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's always revealing music, it's just, I don't understand it. I don't understand theory.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
wish I did.
yeah,
I just need someone to explain it to me in like actual proper terms I can understand. Because
yeah.
I was just talking with a friend of mine this morning. Why is a G seventh chord not called a G with a flatted seventh in it? Because
Right,
if it was a
right.
seventh, it's a major seventh. So what's going on there? Why doesn't make any sense to me?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we're in the same boat actually, because I play by ear and I understand, very, very minimally music theory. But Gary, what I was listening to before when you I was listening to this because I thought it's time to get refamiliarized with your last 2 albums.
Okay.
And I'd like to start with this one, Gary. Can we talk about this album a little bit?
Okay.
Now, Gary, it sounds to me throughout the band, it sounds like your guitar parts are very central to the compositions. It's kind of surprising to me to hear that you didn't actually write very much, but it sounds like you're all over the compositions.
Um, well, that's because of the writing, I believe. Well, let's see. I mean, both Ray and Terry play guitar,
Mhm.
so they're both well familiar with it and its role in rock and roll, should we say?
Yeah.
And plus, there's always the thing of Kerry's compositions, particularly, I've always composed on a piano. Well, I think so. Composed on a piano,
Mhm.
and between the notes, the right hand obviously, is going to be keyboard and or guitar. Left hand is basically the bass, and you can hear all the parts in his demonstration tapes.
Yeah.
And I guess it was a division, an equal division of work, really,
Okay. Okay. So
how
the way
much to
that,
cover for each person. But I mean, the guitar's a strong instrument,
yeah. Yeah. So it sounds like the demos, a lot of those parts were fairly well defined for you to just go ahead and grab onto.
Yeah, in the main, they were. I mean,
Mhm.
oftentimes Kerry would have complete demos, and all the parts you can hear within his playing of the demo. Something like Mr. Class and Quality. If you hear that all played on the keyboard, it sounds great. I mean, it's still a great piece of music, but
Yes.
you can start nitpicking and getting into it, and you can pick out where the bass is, what the guitar
Yeah.
part is, and then obviously there's embellishments on that and passing notes and all the rest of it you add in. But
Mhm.
mostly they're all there
Yeah.
in the keyboard part played, and
Absolutely.
that becomes the tricky thing. Is that how then do you divide those parts up
Mhm.
into a sonic thing coming at you from two speakers that it doesn't sound all cloudy and muddled and all in the middle?
Yeah.
You've got to make the separation so you
Oh,
hear the instruments and that they stay as a guitar part. You can hear it, it's a natural guitar part,
yeah.
hopefully.
Yeah.
And similarly a natural keyboard part and a proper bass line. So
I believe that Gentle Giant was excellent at doing that, giving clarity to the different parts. And I think that's part of what we as fans loved, was being able to explore what each band member was doing, because there's so much clarity to all the way the parts put together.
I think that's great too. I still love listening to whatever it might be, and just listen to Ray's bass playing,
Yeah.
or particularly just what the bass line is. They're
Yes.
really, some of them are just so wonderful on their
They
own.
are.
You could just listen to it on its own.
Yes. Yes.
Something like I don't know, Prologue, for instance. The bass
Yeah.
line of that is great, weaving all the way through, and
Oh my
another
goodness.
one, which
Yeah.
is
Yeah. Yeah.
several examples.
There are many. What I think of right away is experience.
Oh
Experience.
yeah.
Good God Almighty. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we were talking about In a Glass House. See, my copy, this is the only thing. It's good, but I could never find a copy without a sticker that I had to remove in America.
Those damn retailers, they got to stick their price on it, don't they?
It was fucking bullshit. This is like my second or third copy, and I've never found a copy without a gem sticker on it. That was the import.
Okay, yeah, because that's how it was only available, right? Really?
Yeah, which is bullshit. This is still just
For
a
ages.
fantastic album. It is. But to get back to this one,
Right.
Gary,
Okay.
I saw a promo for a date. For the first time today, I didn't even know that video existed.
Yeah, there's a couple. I saw them just the other day too. There's that one for the track, Giant for a Day, where it's got Dereck standing with a mask and a guy in front of a Rolls Royce, and
Yeah,
it's all pretty hokey. I mean, it was the 80s.
yes, yes.
Thank God we didn't have puffy shoulders and bouffant hair, but we could have. I'm sure. But and there's another one. What else we do? Thank You.
Oh,
We
really?
did as well. There's acts out there somewhere from that
Okay.
same session. And I
Okay.
was looking at those videos, and I think they were done. Actually, I don't know where they were done now. I was going to say Sound City out in California, but they're not. No, I don't know where they've done. Anyway, they're all rented instruments. You can tell it's not my guitar. We kind of rented a couple of things to do them. It could have been at Capitol Studios, perhaps.
Okay.
I don't know. But
Was it the management's idea for the cutout cover, or whose idea was this?
I'm going to take the fifth on that.
You're wise to do so. You're wise to do so, because I mean, you guys have had some great covers, and this one, it was just like when it came out, it was like, what?
Yeah, I know. I know.
But again, you were like trying to deal with the market at the time, I would imagine, eh?
I think we lost our minds. I think we were trying to be somebody else, really.
Well, you really were, but I mean, there's still Gentle Giant in here. That's what
Oh, there is. Yeah, it's in there,
Oh,
but we didn't display it to the best. You know, it wasn't put it on the best platform. Yeah, it's a strange cover. I think it was sort of a, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that cover. It's just not very good.
yeah.
But strangely, loads of people, I don't know if they cut out that mask. I think there was a mask insert
Yes,
in it
yes, yes,
originally.
yes.
And we saw a bunch of those at gigs, you know, people wearing them in front of their face and
That's
stuff.
pretty
So
cool.
that's okay,
That
I
kind of
guess.
works.
Yeah. But yeah, no, not a great concept. Perhaps the
Hmm.
title is okay, Giant for a Day, but it needed a different. Anyway, that's
Yeah,
water under the bridge.
yeah. I
But
was
there's some good tunes on that, I think.
indeed,
Well, some
indeed.
good music.
Yeah, because I was curious about, how you're feeling about the band at the time. Because again, you guys had quite a bit of history already, and it's like you're trying to stay either relevant or you're trying to stay, you want to keep selling records. It
We
seems
were
like,
trying to stay alive as a band. We
yeah,
were trying to just keep going as a band because,
yeah,
you know, everybody has this idea that if you're in a rock and roll band, you've got several houses all around the world and you've got money, and it's not true,
right,
especially in our case because we never sold many records, a
yeah,
load of records, let's
yeah,
say,
yeah.
and it just got very difficult for us. Was it during that album? No, it was the last album, I think. But at that period, I mean, the income stream was pretty thin.
Yes,
I took another job.
gotcha.
I was booking ferries, booking cars on a ferry
Mm,
out of the place where we live. There's a car ferry goes from England, Portsmouth, over to the Isle of Wight, where they had
mhm,
that
mhm,
famous festival.
mhm.
And I was doing all night sessions on Saturday nights for I think it was £30 for an all night session. I was sit there and pick up the phone and hello, yes, you need a car going from, and I did that for a couple of months,
That's reality. That's
to pay
reality.
the bills. So,
Yeah, gotta stay afloat.
Giant for a Day was partly because we needed to survive, but
Yes, understood.
I don't know if that was the best way
Well,
about it.
well, check it out, Gary. We're still talking about it today, so that says something.
Yeah,
This album starts off stronger than Giant for a Day. The first track.
yeah, yeah.
This is a really good album.
I like it.
Yeah,
It's as in one of the words of one of our guys of the Gorg group, it kicks ass.
yes. So see, the deal is
Thank you, Scott.
I've rediscovered this album because when it came out, when I bought it, I was my head was in another place, and so it didn't connect at the time. So, but now in retrospect, I hear how really good, and it's pure Gentle Giant. It's a pure Gentle Giant album. It is.
It is. I mean, it's Gentle Giant. It's 6 years on from Freehand or whatever it is. I mean, yeah, a band grows or
Mhm.
it stops, and I think we thought. I don't know if we knew this was the last album at the time,
Okay. Okay.
but we certainly needed to be more mainstream.
Mhm. Mhm. Well, you
Had
did
the internet been around then, I'm sure we could have continued making albums more like the Gentle Giant everybody sort of reveres,
understood.
but it wasn't possible.
Understood. Another thing about this one is I don't know if you ever heard this, but it
I've
sounds
heard
well. Well, this one, the band Tears for Fears.
it.
They
Yeah,
they sound like they were listening to this album to me at that
really?
time.
What,
Yes.
you mean music from the big chair?
In particular, their hit Head Over Heels around that time. As I was listening to this album, I'm thinking they probably copped some of that sound is from you guys because they've talked about their influences and where they got the music, which was a lot of prog. And when I
Okay.
listened to this, it was like, damn, I hear Tears for Fears, man.
Well, that's great because I like them. They're a good band.
They
I
are.
love Shout.
Yeah, good song.
I
Good.
have played Shout many times in a cover band.
Oh wow, cool.
Yeah.
It just feels to me like is your music is more influential than is obvious at times. Is kind of what I'm getting at.
I think that's true. I mean, I can't tell you how many. I mean, everybody I run into who's a player, you know, when they know I was in Gentle Giant, oh, can't believe, you know, and
Yeah.
it's wonderful. It's influenced many players, and I think we're all quite proud of the fact that we've sort of stimulated young guys to pick up instruments. Sometimes I've heard that a lot. You know, you guys were the inspiration for me starting to play music. And okay, we can't ask for a better legacy than have more musicians in the world. Really,
Absolutely.
that's
Well,
the best one.
absolutely. Jack Bruce was my original inspiration, but along the way, Gentle Giant, among other bands, have been bands where I learned by ear. And so when Octopus came out and the next album, you know, I really struggled to learn some of those bass parts, but it really helped my technique. And I'm in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame here in my state, and you guys are part of helping me get there.
Wow, that's great. I didn't realize that Nebraska had a Hall of Fame. That's great.
Yeah, pretty much every state does. And
oh, really?
yeah, pretty much. And I'm happy to say that besides me, have you heard of Buddy Miles, the drummer
Oh,
from,
sure, of course.
yeah,
Is he from Nebraska?
yeah, we're in the Hall of Fame together. And so is Randy Meisner from the Eagles, among
Oh,
others.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I actually knew Buddy Miles. My dad, we knew the family, so I was around him as a kid. Yeah.
Man, well, anybody who played with Hendrix is going to be, you know, up there in my book.
Yeah, well, he was amazing. He was a mess of a person, but he was a hell of a musician.
Yeah. What was that called? The Buddy Miles Express?
Yes,
Nice.
yes. All those cats. I grew up with all those people. I'm still friends with we played with Stevie Wonder, Hank Red. He was in the band. And he and I are still friends, actually. Yeah. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, it is. So this is probably a tired question, but is it completely off the books that Gentle Giant could do a reunion concert ever?
Yes, it's completely off the books.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it's not ever going to happen. It never was ever going to happen.
Wow. Okay.
No.
And you're okay with that?
Absolutely, I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, when Malcolm Mortimer and I put together Three Friends.
Yes, which sounded great. Sounded really good.
It was a great band, but there was no way we were going to call it Gentle Giant. I mean, it's not gentle. There's only one Gentle Giant, and that was, you know, those 5, 6, 7 guys.
Yeah.
Played all those albums.
Yeah.
Any other iteration of that is, I don't know, it's not a tribute band per se, because we know how the tunes are supposed to go. So
yeah.
But the idea was to reproduce faithfully that music to generations of people who had never got a chance to hear it live, and to give it more of an airing, because it didn't really quite get its fair shake back then, because, well, just technological things were different. There wasn't an internet.
How long did you do that?
Three Friends?
Yeah.
Over about 3 years, I think, 3, 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you guys commit anything to recording? Did you record anything?
No, we didn't.
Okay. I've seen.
But there's loads of videos.
Yeah, I've watched them. And they sound great. Really do. That's why I was wondering, maybe you captured one of those for a live recording or something.
No, we didn't do that. I don't know. No, we felt we was, I don't know, some sort of sticky ground about rights and all that stuff. So
publishing and all that.
I was happy just to play the music to people and have them realize how good the music was when it's played properly. Well, you know, you try to play it properly.
Absolutely. So then you can still play School Days in.
I can.
Because that's sweet.
We did School Days, and that was part of the point as well. As Three Friends, I figured that there's a lot of classic Giant tunes that we never, as Giant, played out live for whatever reason. You know, we were opening up for whoever, Sabbath or somebody, and you're not going to play something like School Days, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just too trying for a big audience sometimes to play something that sort of listener attentiveness you needed to. So But we were able to do that with three friends, and I thought it'd be a great idea to bring these things to life, you know. So we did Empty City, which is a unsung song. It's really good. We played that. There's a good recording of that with three friends. School Days and a few others, but and in that regard, I really feel it was a successful venture.
Right. Sounded great to me. Very cool. Very cool. So I love the t-shirt, by the way, Gary. It keeps catching my attention. Vote out hate.
Yes.
Yes, brother. Yes, absolutely.
Hate is the worst.
It is the worst. We just had an International Hate Day, which is bizarre that we would have it.
What?
Oh, you
There's
didn't
an
know?
International Hate Day?
It's ridiculous. Now, it was supposed to be a joke when it started, like, oh, I hate ice cream. Oh, I hate fat dogs. And it's just completely gone to hell.
That's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
It's too easily subversed, isn't it?
It is. Well, it was. They had this national anti-Semitic, like people, with be careful this weekend, watch out for anti-Semitic, and sure enough, some things happened. But I knew again once, Gary, through the music, that you people generally had to be decent human beings. Had to be.
I'm glad it comes across in the music. Yeah, we're all, generally okay guys, I think. Except for that John Weathers,
he's a character. He's a character. I mean,
Didn't
really,
you do a thing with him the other day?
I have not talked to him yet.
Oh, okay.
I've watched him. He's funny.
He is.
He's very funny. Very funny.
Yeah, he's a Welsh sage.
Yeah, I heard him in Eyes of Blue before I heard him in Gentle Giant.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I'm a nerd, man. I've been following the music since I've been following deeply the music of the continent.
Eyes of Blue. Good God.
Yeah, yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff, indeed. Indeed.
He was in Man for a long time after Giant.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Which are all buddies of his from the Valley and stuff. And I met a bunch of those guys too. I never got to see him as Man, but
yeah,
not him with Man, I should say.
Great band. So there is a definite amount of memory lane here that I'm asking you to share with folks, Gary.
That's fine. I think the background story on a lot of this stuff is intriguing. It's why people write biographies, I think.
Absolutely. So one thing So one thing I'm curious about is Gentle Giant was almost polar opposites of David Bowie, but did your paths ever cross?
No, not in as much that we ever played on the same bill as him, but it crossed with everybody else. Like you'd play one venue one night, somebody else would be there the next night, and you'd see like the traces of whoever been there before and all that kind of stuff. But no, we never played with Bowie. The only link we had was that Tony Visconti, who was a producer on the first and second albums, had worked with, David Bowie and also with Mark Bolan.
Right. So along those lines, I have a lot of respect for the position of a producer that helps a record, because not all producers do anything. So from your experience, did Visconti help Gentle Giant with his work?
Yes, he did. He absolutely did. He was a great help to. I was a complete newbie to recording in proper studios. The Shulmans, Dereck, Ray, Phil had been around a while, and they'd been to bigger places and recorded a bit, but it was kind of in its infancy then. Recording it was still 4/8-track stuff,
Right.
So as Giant sort of blossomed, so did the technology, and studios became bigger and more complicated. And it was 8-track, 16, 24-track.
Right.
24-track was the biggest thing when we finished.
Yeah.
There was no computer recording, of course.
Yeah.
No digital recording. It was all analog. But so Tony was a great. He shepherded us through the process of recording.
Very cool.
And we got to learn it more through him.
Yeah.
But he was is a very creative guy who's able to bring out. It's a sort of I don't know. It's a mercurial thing what producers do. They sort of good producers. They sort of tease performances out of you.
Yes.
You know, you can't be you know, dogmatic about about requiring a performance. You know, go out there and play the solo if you like. You can't. You know, it's a very subtle thing that they work in. It's psychology and hands-on. It's technical stuff. It's musicianship. So a person who combines all these qualities and you like and you works with him is a rare find. You know, so. But he was one of those guys. Is one of those guys for us at least.
So in the studio over the years, Gary, did you always play through an amp? Did you ever do anything direct on the board in making?
Oh yeah, often. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, go ahead.
You want an example?
Well, how soon? Because I would imagine, were you recording direct even in the early stages of recording Gentle Giant records?
Oh no, it wasn't actually till later, till Desks got bigger.
That's what I was thinking. Okay, so
yeah.
About what album do you think you started messing with the recording direct?
It wasn't so much. Well, yeah. I mean, it was sometimes, much usually, it was an attempt to recreate the type of guitar sound that Ray probably had gotten straight through his Revox.
Oh, okay, okay.
Right. Rather than, you know, it wasn't a big amplified ambient big room sort of noise sound. It was more intimate, like No God's a Man. That actually was amplified, but there's a few bits in there that I can, if I went through the track with you, you know, I could say, well, that's direct recording, and there's several examples of that. Something on Giant for a Day, actually. Take Me.
Okay.
Take Me. That tune. There's a lot of direct guitar in that.
Do you have a preference? Is what I'm kind of curious.
No, you know, we're always I mean, my sort of credo is whatever works for the tune. So I'm not hard and fast for one or the other necessarily. It depends on what are you looking for, what's the result, is it appropriate to the tune? That's what I'll side with every time.
Okay, Gary.
But yeah, I love a big stack of Marshalls, man.
Well, yeah. Well, indeed, because you've got, to me, you have a signature sound. I recognize your sound right away. It's killer.
Thank you.
It's killer sound. It really is, man. So you didn't
this is what it is in.
That's it. The bangers. You know? It's the bangers, bro. So you basically use your gear on the recordings. You guys did.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the
I mean, no, sometimes we would. I mean, the guitar amps, generally, it was our guitar amps. There were a couple of times when there was I don't know, like a twin reverb in there, something, or a Marshall head maybe, but typically it was our gear.
Okay, so have you ever played a Rickenbacker guitar? Have you ever messed with that? Yeah, because I would
love one. I love the sound of a Rickenbacker.
It's very distinct.
The 12, you know, of course, but because I love John Lennon's short scale thing, whatever. No, but I never have played a Rickenbacker. I've never actually played a proper Gretsch either.
Those are some sweet guitars. They sure are. They sure are.
I play a lot of Yamahas.
Well, Yamaha makes good guitars. I've got one too, you know. I've got one. This is the one, is that an acoustic? Oh, beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah. Is that the one you're playing a lot right now?
Yeah, I've been playing that one, but the one I'm playing most of is that one there.
Yeah.
It's sort of like their SG thing.
Yeah. It looks like the neck got nice neck, it looks like.
It is.
Yeah.
So I don't have very big hands and I need a smallish neck to get around. But so yeah. That's got a lot of nice noises in it. I'm a single coil man these days too. I've given up on humbuckers. Well, for me, they're a bit muddy generally. They're fine for certain applications.
Yeah, big stages, I would think, actually.
Yeah, very hard rocking sort of stuff. But tone wise, I'm thinking I just like the single coils best, P90s particularly.
Right on, right on.
So
This just reminds me that, Gary, when I did that last talk with you, I got a message from someone that says we're either friends or neighbors of Gary's, and we didn't even know he was in General Zion. Did any of those? Did anyone get back to you on that? Someone,
um,
someone where you live?
no, not that I recall, but
Yeah,
that could be the age setting in.
yeah. Well, like you said, you're not the sort of person who's always parading around in your old rock and roll gear, trying to remind folks.
Well, that's what I do, of course. In my spare time, I wear my old, giant costumes, and there was.
Do you still have those clothes?
I don't, not anymore. No, I auctioned them off at our annual Gorg gathering.
That's wow.
It's a gathering of our, sort of friends and fans, if you like, but it's fairly intimate sort of thing,
Yeah.
and it's best to go to them because they were
So,
the instigators of helping us sort of stay alive,
were those things tailored for you guys? Those clothes made for you?
Yeah, I didn't make them.
That's
That's what you mean.
Well, no. I mean, it's like you had a distinct. You couldn't go in the store and buy that stuff.
No, no. Well, the first one I had, the one with the long sleeves and the sort of castellated bottom, sort of brown, and then it was green.
Yes.
That one was made by a tailor just off Carnaby Street. And yeah, we actually went there and had some stage clothes made.
Nice.
And that was a weird experience. The tailor was saying how you should have your trousers like really up high. And he said, because it helps you, facilitates you moving around. And to demonstrate this, he did a couple of flips in the store and sort of landed on his feet. Sort of, a big flourish, isn't it?
Oh, that's cool.
And that was a little weird.
That's one for the books. That's for sure.
And but so yeah, that one was made, and also my mother-in-law later on made me a couple of sort of silky, sort of blousy things that were just comfortable to play on because I sweat a lot, and on stage in Giant, I sweated my literal,
You probably lost weight.
Gonads off.
Yeah, you probably lost weight. Indeed.
Yeah. So I needed something loose, and not. You don't want sleeves dripping over your strings, deadening things. So
right.
And so it was always towards sort of an athletic-y kind of gear. I had sort of a tracksuit kind of thing.
Yes, I did notice that.
John, of course, had his Oakland A's outfit, which was perfect to play in, but it was pretty heavy material. But it suited John. That was great.
Yeah. Now, another thing I noticed about the pictures and all the publicity is it looked like you weren't really interested in getting your picture taken, or was that just kind of your stance?
Me personally?
Yes, in the pictures. You kind of look a lot of times like it's like you don't even care about the camera.
I think I was very shy, camera shy back then. I was like stepping forward and being putting my face in there. There's a particular Italian interview. I don't know if you've seen this, where we're sitting at a table.
Yes.
And the camera comes to me, and I.
Yes,
at that same time, Dereck falls over backwards.
Yeah. It's classic. It's classic.
But I'm shy, and I'm Gary Green, and I play the guitar, sort of apologizing for it. And I was just sort of a insecure, shy sort of kid, I think, really, isn't it? So, that is a good one, that, isn't it? John shuffling, and I play drums and nothing else. Nothing.
It's really, it's classic. I think it's really funny. Did you guys work with John Anthony? I don't know. The producer.
I don't know that name.
Okay,
Who's
so
that?
well, he produced the first Genesis albums.
Okay, no. Don't
Okay,
know him.
okay. It must have been maybe John Burns, maybe, or maybe
I
go
know
this.
two John Burns, but it's not the ones you're thinking of, I'm sure.
Well, let me take this angle. Do you have any other memories regarding working with any other producer that was memorable? Anything memorable?
Absolutely. Jeff Emerick.
Okay, the Beatles guy.
Yeah. On the
Wow.
last album.
Yeah.
He was great. He was, primarily an engineer, and
Mhm.
because of his fame, I guess, he was he was sort of like a de facto producer as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
But he was much more sort of workmanlike. He wasn't kind of as a sort of I don't know. Don't want to say creative. That's not the right sort of thing. He was a much more hands-on guy getting the sounds, because he's been an engineer all his life. Tony was a more of a sort of a artistic sort of producer. Jeff Emerick was, like I say, that. But
Mhm.
he was the same way. He'd stay there to the end till you played it right. And just encouraged you all the time. Had great ideas how to achieve the noises we were
Yeah.
after.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he was very workmanlike. He came into the studio, and immediately he turned the thermostat down, so it was cooler.
Mhm.
And he got
This
rid of the
album,
comfy.
this
Yeah,
album, yeah, because this album
yeah.
sounds great. Sounds great. Yeah.
And he'd get rid of the comfy chair, and he'd
Mhm.
get like a hard wooden chair, and he'd sit on that, and he'd be, sort of uncomfortable. He didn't want to relax. He'd like, his focus was all up here all
Wow.
the time.
Well,
And he chain smoked too.
wow. Well, you know something, it shows in the work that he's done, that sort of attitude. Very cool. Well, I'm glad I asked that. Wow, you worked with the guy who worked with the Beatles. Any other Beatles connections or crossings ever?
Um, no, well, yes, but making the first album,
Hmm.
passing, uh, that was oh God, what was the studio? Can't remember what the name of the studio was. Anyway, it's in this tiny little alley
Hmm.
in Soho in London.
Hmm.
And
Trident.
Trident, yes, of course, thank you.
Okay. Uh-huh.
So as we went into the door, opened the door, and I went bang straight into George Harrison, who was coming out.
Cool.
And I was sort of
No shit.
didn't say anything. It was just like dumbfounded that it was George Harrison, and we
Yeah.
sort of walked by. But, oh, sorry,
Oh,
went on down the alley and off into the sunset.
that's wonderful though. Just that.
George Martin came to one of our sessions
Mhm, mhm,
when we were making that last album, because obviously the Jeff Emerick and him connection.
yeah.
And he just came in to sort of hear how it was going. He's a gentleman, really nice fellow.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think he opened up a studio on Montserrat,
Hmm. Hmm.
and Air Studios in Montserrat,
Yeah.
which we toyed with recording at, I think, for the last album.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it was then or just after, or anyway, we went to the opening party that they had in Los Angeles somewhere whilst we were making The Civilian.
Hmm.
And we got invited to the party, the grand opening party of Air Studios. A few famous faces. I think Pat Benatar was there.
Cool. Cool.
But anyway, I think it never materialized. Obviously, that Montserrat island, because they had a volcano, and I think it buried the studio, which was
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. So, part of what makes me want to start to wrap up is my body. I'm gonna have to go. You know what I mean? In a minute. I can just
I
go.
know.
I can just go and come back. But so I'm working with some young musicians, working on some stuff, and you know, I've thought about the idea of asking you if you would want to listen to some of the stuff, maybe play on something. I don't know if you do that.
It depends, I guess. I mean, I haven't forever, and I never have. Well, I've very occasionally I have done, sort of a thing on a friend's album.
Mhm.
So I haven't done it. No,
Mhm.
it depends entirely on what it is I'm asked
Yeah,
to do, I think.
yeah. Well, after we're done here, I'm gonna fly you a tune that I and see what you think. If you know if it's
Okay.
so, we'll
Yeah.
just do it. We'll just take it like that because I'm working on 3 albums right now. Three.
Good for you. You're a busy
Yeah.
guy. I wish I had more of that impetus to do that.
But are you in?
I'm trying to do that.
Well, that's what I was wondering. It's like, if you're enjoying your lifestyle, you're enjoying how things are going, right? But it sounds like maybe you would like a little more activity, a bit more.
Yeah. Well, I have, like I think I told you in another interview, perhaps, I have a few musical ideas.
Mhm, mhm.
Too few musical ideas. I'm getting a few more now. But anyway, I have a few ideas that I put on a 4-track cassette
Uh-huh.
years ago,
Mhm.
and I want to make them into like proper tunes, whether
Yeah,
that makes an album or not. I think there
yeah,
may be a few people be interested in it.
yeah. I think so.
It's not anything like Giant. It's, back more to my sort of roots. And is it? I don't know. I don't know what it is. I got this one thing that I call James Brown because
Oh,
it's kind of that ants in my pants kind of feel.
right, right. Really rhythmic, really rhythmic.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, that's what all my thing is, rhythm. So
Mhm.
they're a bit sparse musically, some of them. I've got one that's called Blood in the Sand, which was
Hmm.
a friend of mine came in and he heard it and he thought it was at the time of US invading Iraq,
Okay, okay.
and it just sounded like in the desert, sort of that sort of eastern sort of feel.
Mhm, mhm. Well,
Anyway,
I'm going to encourage you, Gary. Go ahead and finish that stuff up. I think, frankly,
you
people would really love to hear it.
see, part of my method here is I tell enough people
Mhm.
that I've got things I should do, and they encourage me to do them,
All right.
and then I feel guilty of not following my friend's suggestions. So I have to be forced into doing it. This is
Well,
kind of why Three Friends came about as well. I went to loads of prog festivals, and I thought, you know, there's such a love for Gentle Giant out there. That'd
mhm,
be nice to play, and so I told a few people that I'm thinking about playing out again. And
mhm,
they kind of went, "Oh, right, really? Yeah, right. That sounds good." So I told enough people about it that I couldn't go back.
yes, yes,
You
yes,
know.
yes. So I'm going to join the chorus. Gary, get up off that ass. Get up off
Okay,
that ass.
I'm
Let's
going.
go. Yeah, baby. Let's go. Let's have it. Let's have some new green. We need some new greens, brother.
Green blues.
That's right. Green blues.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, did you ever hear the guitarist Grant Green back in the 60s? Like,
Yeah.
man, see, yeah. And Wes Montgomery.
Oh, Wes
Yeah,
is king.
yeah. Now you can do a little bit of that, can't you? You can do that, can't you?
Uh, Not really, not authentically.
Hmm.
No, no, no. I mean, that's not really my, what do they call it? Wheelhouse.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Although I love it, and I
Yeah,
love him,
fantastic,
Wes is undeniably one of the true greats of guitar.
fantastic.
My brother, however, can play all of that.
You can play that shit, huh?
He's a wonderful player, my brother. I'll send you a video
Hmm.
of him. This is years ago. Him playing with Stefan Grappelli.
Ooh, let me see that. I love
Yeah,
Grappelli.
I'll send you the link.
I love Grappelli. So let me give you another compliment, Gary. So I'm working with on one of the projects. I'm working with two young musicians in Omaha. They're excellent, but they're both in their 20s. Okay, so there's a lot of music they haven't heard. So the other day, I turned the guitarist, Cubby Phillips is his name. He's incredible. Seriously, you're going to be hearing about him. But I turned him on to Peter Green, who he had never heard,
Oh,
took the top of his head off, and then I said, "So yeah, but I'm also digging Gentle Giant because I'm about to talk to this guy." So I played some Gentle Giant, and it had the same effect. And what he was particularly noticing was your articulation and your tone, Gary.
that's nice.
You're one of the,
Lovely.
I think you're one of England's greats. I really do.
Oh man, that's lovely. Thank you, Derek.
Unrecognized. I think you're unrecognized, Gary. I think you're one of the great players from the from the greatest. era of rock history to me. You know, like 60s and 70s. That was to me some of the greatest time in Western music, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, I've got to go along with you with that. I think that was a great period. All those British guitar players coming up, Jeff Beck, what a loss, one of the best of them all, really.
Very truly, very truly.
Yeah, yeah.
Well and truly. Well and truly. But now, again, see, the deal is, though, and this is no disrespect, but I enjoy listening to your playing more than Jimmy Page. Now, Jeff Beck, you can't touch.
Thank you. No,
I'm serious now. Now, listen up now. I've been collecting records for over 50 years, and I listen a lot. And when I think back on it, I am drawn to want to hear a Gary Green or a Jeff Beck or an Alan Holdsworth before a Jimmy Page.
Wow.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's important for you to get that, to hear that.
And Jimmy was, I don't know, he wrote the book on, that kind of not supergroup thing, but Zeppelin. I've come to like them more as I've gotten older.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But for me, it's really all about John Bonham. I mean, he just pulls that thing so together.
Yes, yes, bigger than life. And to me, Jimmy's always been more folky than rock to me, really, the way he plays.
I'm still amazed and amused that there's a discussion or a rivalry, because Jimmy Page was a session musician too, as you know. But and I guess he played on the Who's Can't Explain record.
That's what I understand.
And there's still, like I say, an argument, a discussion, whatever, about who actually played that solo.
That's wild.
Can't Explain.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. To my ears, it's Pete.
Well,
he's also one of my heroes. I got to tell you, Pete Townsend.
Absolutely love him. And you ever got to meet those guys, the Who, hang out?
Yeah,
very
cool.
When
we were making that last album, in fact.
Wow.
When we were making that last album, well, we mixed it in a studio called Wessex in North London, which is gone now. It's apartments or something. But at that time, we went into mix, and also in the studio at the same time was Pete Townsend mixing Empty Glass, one of my favorite albums.
Nice.
The Rough Boys and all that.
Right.
The Pretenders were in there doing their first album.
Wow.
Brass in Pocket.
Oh, shit.
And the Clash were in there doing London Calling.
Gary, this is historic.
This is crazy. These 4 bands, I know all those albums, you'll notice, were very successful albums.
Yes.
Except for Who's?
Well, again, it's like
fine, but it's like, wow. So yes, I played Space Invaders against Pete Townsend.
Man, those are wonderful stories. Thank you for sharing them, because then people are going to hear the thing like, wow, that was so cool. So very cool, Gary. And again, when I listen to what you guys were working on, it's not that so much that you were out of step with the times, but it's like you're coming from a time before what the times were doing and just continuing, as opposed to like those bands were just not Pete Townsend, but like the Clash and the Pretenders. It's like it was a brand new thing,
Yeah, it really was. It was kind of where sort of punk, if you like, was coming in the door and pushing, Giant and Pete Townsend kind of out. It was
yeah. And it does seem like there's a bit of you toying with that on the Giant for a Day sound, on the song.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, it was influenced by what was happening. All albums, of course, are, a product of what's going on around you, aren't they, at the time? Well, typically they are.
Yeah.
Not always, but the reflection of the moment, all that. And Giant for a Day, punk coming in, I think we thought, these are not us, but everybody, or of those of the prog generation, let's say, felt like there was a bunch of upstarts coming in to, they couldn't play. We thought, turned out that was wrong. Us missing it, the general, the universal, the royal we, misinterpreting what they were doing, totally.
Yeah.
You know, negating and not realizing the whole thrust of what the social implication of what it was.
Yeah,
you
it was
know,
very important.
missing that entirely, and it was just about, oh, they can't play. It not really the issue, you know.
Right.
So you know, we all learned quite a lot from that, I think,
Mhm.
as it needed to do.
Man, you have some.
But we could still play.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean we're like has-beens just because we didn't, you know.
Absolutely. You know, what's funny is that, you know, you're not playing currently in a band, but you're still in the game. I mean, I am very involved in social media. I belong to a lot of record collecting groups on Facebook and stuff. And Gentle Giant is constantly being played by people, constantly being talked about.
Yeah, I know. It's I see it mentioned all the time in forums and stuff that I get online and read about, and it's great.
Mhm.
I mean, we've sort of cemented our place there somehow.
You truly have. Gary, the last thing I want to ask you before I go is there's been some chatter about possibly the Roots doing something in conjunction with Gentle Giant. Is there anything? The band The Roots, they are Jimmy.
Oh, the Tonight Show band?
Yes. Have you heard anything about that?
I don't know anything about that.
Okay, so it's just talk. It's just talk.
Well, I don't know. Maybe there's something, but I don't know anything about it.
I sure hope that it happens. Maybe that's between him and Dereck. You know,
could be. I know Derek's met Questlove a couple of
times.
I have. Apparently, he's a big fan.
He's a huge fan. I've met Questlove too.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, we're both big collectors. So that's how I connect with Questlove. But yeah, he was saying it wasn't that long ago that he was saying I got this thing I think I want to try to do with Gentle Giant, so I hope it happens.
That'd be great. I mean, the documentary that he was involved in what was that called? The Summer of
Soul. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know where that footage had been hiding all these years, but the sound on it is just great. Incredible.
Yeah, it is. You know,
and the performances too. And is that
and you know, I'm sad to say, you know, that's my music. I didn't even know it happened back then.
I didn't hear of it until that documentary came out.
Exactly.
It happened at the same time as Woodstock, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't know.
Yeah,
an
something like that.
Woodstock or something.
Yeah, the Black Woodstock or the inner Woodstock. Yeah, I hadn't heard nothing about it, but I have the video on DVD because it's just incredible.
Yeah, I got to watch that again.
Yeah, it is. Everyone is on fire. In that one. Gary,
I gotta.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, you gotta hold it for a sec. I know where you're going. I got to take issue with you a little bit. I saw one of your videos, and you said we were just showing off on the live album.
Did I say that?
You said that.
Okay.
Which is okay, but you know, you got to realize there's a point about live albums that you're there one night only, to impress these people, and
you know,
not just showing off.
Well, you know, okay, I can see where it can sound like that. Because indeed, you guys are showing what you can do. But
in a literal sense, we're showing off.
Yeah, so when I say it, it could be taken wrong by some people, but I was right. You guys,
I mean, it wasn't too vaudevillian.
No. Well, it wasn't like dick measuring. It wasn't nothing like that.
No. There'd be no point in that.
So that's cool, though. I'm honored that you've watched some of my videos. I'm honored.
I'm amazed you do them every day. It's kind of like a diary, a daily blog, you know.
It is. Which
is cool.
It is. And I'm working on some other interviews, some other folks that I'd like to talk to. And
Good-o.
Pardon me?
Good-o.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good-o. That's a
good-o. Yeah, like Ace, right? Ice,
mate, isn't it?
Ice, mate, right. Well, I really appreciate this, Gary, and I actually am going to bother you again.
That's fine. We can do these every couple of months if you like.
Wonderful.
Happy to do it. Yeah.
This is great. And maybe you can arrange for Mr. Higgins to come in on the next one.
Oh.
Is he around? Okay, cool.
I can get him if you want.
Yeah, go ahead. So you get the cat and I go to the bathroom. That's what I'm going to do. That'll work.
Right. Stay here, folks.
Thank you, Gary. Yes, I'm
Yes.
saved. I'm saved. Yes. Oh, look at that.
Here's
Hello,
Mauricio.
hello, Mauricio.
Mauricio Higgins.
Hello, Mauricio. What a sweetie.
He's a good boy.
Yes, look
Thank
at
you.
him. Oh, that's awesome. I can see in your face that you're an animal lover.
Oh yeah, had him all my life.
Oh man, that's sweet.
He's totally, and he's got no tail.
Okay. Okay, I see
It's
now.
that way.
Okay. Oh, so you always know.
There he is.
You always know him. Mauricio with no tail. That's
He's a good
beautiful,
boy.
Gary. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
It means a lot to me. Really, it does. Thank you so much. And he's oh, wow. Beautiful, beautiful guy. And
Yeah,
what a
he's
sweet,
quite calm right now.
yes, I'm saying he's like, what a sweet demeanor. So thank you that I was able to take care of that so I can actually reload and ask you a couple more questions now.
Okay, let me put him away because we
Okay.
don't have him in this part of the house anymore.
Okay. Okay.
I'll be right there.
No problem.
There we go. Good boy.
Oh, this is just really fun. This is really, really, really fun.
There we go.
All right. All right. Gary, thank you so much for being one of my new friends. I really, really appreciate
Absolutely, man. Yeah.
it. Yeah. So do you
I
have
enjoy it talking to you.
you bet. So do you have any memories of this album cover? Was there anything about the Roger Dean doing? Did he do this for you guys, or did you just pick it out of some art?
I don't know how it came about that Roger Dean did that. I mean, obviously, he was Roger Dean and had done, all of the S albums and had a signature look and stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't recall us thinking or discussing, let's get Roger Dean to do us a cover. I don't recall that conversation ever, but somehow we ended up with that. And
Okay.
I have subsequently met Roger Dean loads of times.
Nice, nice.
And I have a signed print of that in that closet back there.
Very it's one of the best covers. It really is. But this is too. I think I asked you about this. It's like I don't understand why they decided
What's that first album and third album?
yes, that they used it for Three Friends in America instead of the original artwork. Did you
Well,
know?
the reason for that was that I don't think we really liked the Three Friends cover. I don't think it was very well executed.
Well, I have to
it was-
agree with you. I agree with
Yeah, it was a good idea,
you. Hmm.
but it didn't translate into the best cover.
Mhm.
And since that album was going to be our first release in America,
Mhm.
our first official release, we thought we'd better go with the proper giant logo thing for the first album in America. So
You made the right decision. You did. You did
yeah,
make the right decision.
If the Three Friends cover had been the first release in America, well, I mean, I don't know. Who knows?
Mhm.
It doesn't. You want to put your best foot forward, don't you,
Yeah,
when you're stepping out in a new place? So.
Absolutely. It's totally eye-catching. I mean, it's just to me, it's just again one of the covers of rock and roll. This is one of the covers to me.
Yeah. I mean, I've got to say, I've grown to hate him over the years, but
What's
I
that?
mean, he got used on everything. Everything
Yeah.
we did, it was giant.
Yeah.
Anyway, but there you go.
Yeah. I can understand that indeed, where it's almost like you're being exploited beyond what you're comfortable with.
By ourselves, no less.
It seems to be part of the game, though, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, it never seemed to me we had like the coolest covers, like, I don't know, XTC always had the coolest covers,
Well,
and artwork.
I'm gonna take issue with you because I think that you guys had some pretty good covers. Okay, you know,
Octopus was great. Freehand was pretty good.
um,
Civilian's pretty good.
I think this one is pretty good.
Yeah, I think so too.
Now,
That is Ray's hand, by the way.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
This one to me doesn't.
No,
It didn't quite.
I took that picture, by the way.
You took the picture, okay?
Yeah, I'm credited on the back. GG Photography, I think, somewhere in the back there.
Okay, and it's a nice concept. Nice concept.
Again, yeah. But that's my point. Is that we never had the best covers. I mean, the idea, the name is not. I didn't think the title was brilliant. The Missing Piece,
Yeah.
It was, searching for a hit record, or maybe this album is the missing piece to what's missing in Giant's artists.
It's
a bit naff, as we like to say.
So that explains when I asked you before about I bet you we couldn't do it. That you were saying because I thought maybe you guys were trying to chase.
Yeah, it was. I don't know if it was a sort of a punk kind of thing or what it was. I don't know. The main riff of that it began life as a really sweet, gentle tune that Ray had written when I first joined the band. It was one of the things we learned to play early on. It was a song called, I forget, Autumn, I think. And so years later, it gets resurrected, that riff, as this bet you thought we couldn't do it.
Okay.
Maybe that was why my thoughts about it are so coloured, because I had remembered it as this.
Yes. Yeah.
Sweet little thing, and then it becomes the monster that it became.
Yeah. To me, the standout on this one is Memories of Old Days.
Yeah, that's a great tune. Love that.
Yeah. That's it. Mountain Time to me, if I had been a radio I used to be a DJ, Mountain Time would have been the song that I would have chosen to plug.
Yeah. That was it's not like Giant, is it? Except for the middle section.
Yes, see, that's the thing. You guys drop right in there. Dun, 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 dun. That's Giant, man. And it's also very funky.
Sorry, what are you talking about? Mountain Time.
Yeah,
right. Yeah. I'm sorry. I was thinking of Who Do You Think You Are?
No, Mountain Time.
Right. Now that has the distinction of, as I remember it, of being, I think, the only tune that came about as a result of a sort of jam that we did.
Okay.
Mountain Time.
Okay.
We were rehearsing in the back room of a pub somewhere, and I don't know, we'd sort of finished with rehearsals and we were all kind of a bit bored, and Harry started playing something.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, see, that sounds right.
Yeah, Harry started playing that, and we all sort of joined in, and then the other bits kind of came, and then we sort of disbanded. We left for the day, and then a couple of days, or maybe the next day, Ray, or I think Ray, is sort of cobbled together
an arrangement of
the rest of the tune. But it sort of started in the rehearsal room.
That sounds right, because it has that old kind of like juke joint kind of feel to me,
Yeah.
It's a good one. It's cool. It's good.
But Ray was really clever at taking an idea and just running with it and coming up. I remember we were rehearsing freehand for the tour. Or taking it out on stage. We had the tune, obviously, freehand, But as written, as per the album, it wasn't going to work for a live playing. You know, the whole middle bit,
Yes,
which
yes.
is sort of like that sort of ice skating bit, you know, with the big
Right.
Rick organ. It wasn't going to translate well live.
Mhm.
So we needed to do something else with it because otherwise it was such a rocking tune. So
Yeah, yeah.
so we sort of played it through in rehearsal and like, what we're going to do, sort of scratch our heads. And then we went home for the day. The next day, Ray came back and he had this whole other middle section totally fleshed out that he'd played on a sound on sound recording and an old on the Revox, I guess, you know. But it was finished. It'd done it. So I got that whole middle bit, you know, and the transition for the guitar solo and all this. Brilliant.
It is. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So when's the last time you talked to any of the guys?
I just did one of these with Dereck, in fact.
Cool.
Just a couple of weeks ago with an Italian guy.
Okay.
Who he didn't tell me that Dereck was going to be on it. He said at the last minute, he said, "Oh, by the way, Dereck's going to be on." Okay. So that was the last time I took with Dereck, actually. So just a couple of weeks ago.
Very cool.
John and I, we sort of swapped stuff now and again. We're not too we're the best of friends, and it's always like we just pick up where we left off.
Yeah.
It makes no difference. Kerry, I don't talk to sort of from one year's end to the other, but we're often I talk with Leslie, his wife, often, or rather email, because she's in charge of the Alucard, you know, where the royalties come through and any sort of business that Giant does, which is still ongoing.
Yes. Thank goodness.
It's sort of communicated through Leslie. So between them, Leslie and Kerry, they sort of run kind of, or are they, you know, the funnel through which Giant stuff happens.
That's great, though, that the
Malcolm, I talk to quite a lot.
Quite a lot.
Malcolm and his wife. It's Malcolm's wife's birthday today, Lynn. So happy birthday, Lynn.
Happy birthday,
lovely Lynn.
Yes, there you go.
She's a fabulous cook, and she was a lot of the reason why Three Friends worked well, because we all rehearsed at Malcolm's house, and she would cook dinner for everyone.
Yeah.
I've got photos of her coming out of the car with literally a wheelbarrow full of food to prepare for everybody, and all done with love, and she's just great. So happy birthday, Lynn.
That's wonderful. I'm glad you said that, Gary, because so much of what happens behind the scenes has a lot to do with what happens in the music, and that's wonderful. And this, to me, like I keep saying, I've gotten a lot of education, a lot of warmth, and a lot of love out of the music of Gentle Giant.
Great, good.
So this is a great place to go ahead and cap it for the day. Gary, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Dereck. It's been great, man.
We'll
talk again in whatever, a month or so.
Absolutely. I'm going to bother you with a piece of music. I'm going to email you, see what you think of what I'm working on. Okay.
Okay. I've seen a couple of your things. I heard a bit, and I like it. I like this electronic sort of.
Yeah. I'm working
on going.
Right. Well, I've got this other thing. I'm working with two horn players, trumpet, trumpet and sax, and a lot of guitarists, and so that's the stuff I'm gonna see what you think. I'm essentially send some of it to you. Okay,
good man.
Gary, take care.
All right, Dereck, talk to you later, man.
We'll see you.
To Nebraska.
Thank you. Bye-bye.